Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Aurelia the War Leader, Weapons of War. Take a look at our opening hand. We've got a Soul Ring, a Sun Titan, and a Fetch Land. I like where this hand's going. We're going to keep that. So today I'm joined by two Patreon supporters. First up, we have Archangel227 playing this Patron of the Moon deck, Moonfolk Offering. Be interesting to see what that deck's up to. Next up, we have PSMW playing this Narset Enlightened Master deck. They said it was a fairly strong deck, and I believe them. Narset, usually very, very good. So I said that I would bring one of my better decks as well. And our final opponent playing a Muldrotha the Gravetide deck, so probably no slouch there either. And as I mentioned, we're playing Aurelia the War Leader, one of my favorites. 3/4 Flying Vigilance Haste, 2 combats each turn. As opponent lays down a Viscera Seer. There's Kazul's Toll Collector. Nice, now we just need to find some equipments. I'm going to save the Flooded Strand because I want to get Mistveil Plains with that if I can. So play the Plains, play Soul Ring, and pass the turn. Ah, crap, I should have played the Mountain that turn, so we could have gotten Kazul's down. Blah. And a Soul Ring for the Patron of the Moon opponent, followed by a Sky Diamond. Actually, I know what we can do. We can get the Mistveil Plains after with the Sun Titan. I like that plan. Lightning Greaves for the Narset. There's a thing we don't want to see. Here comes a Sylvan Library for the Muldrotha. That's a pretty good one. I mean, part of me just wants to go for Return to Dust right here. There's a Red Elemental Blast. That'll allow us to keep Narset out of play. Yeah, so I think let's play this Flooded Strand, crack the Flooded Strand, get the Plateau, and let's just go for the Return to Dust. Nobody needs Lightning Greaves or Sylvan Library in play. We can get rid of that. Those cards are very, very good, especially in the decks that they are playing. And we'll pass the turn like that. Opponent's going to transmute a Teleria West. And a Solemn Simulacrum coming down for the Patron opponent. Merchant Scroll for our opponent. Let's see what they go for. Have to be a sorcery. Blue instant card. Reveal that, put it into your hand. Going for a Brainstorm. That's not so bad. Opponent probably trying to set up some lands. Mindstone coming down for the Muldrotha opponent. And Viscera Seer coming into us. Sure, take the one. Puts us down to 38. And we draw into Comeuppance. Very nice. Right here, I'm going to play the Kazul's Toll Collector. Play the Boros Garrison. And I'll just return the Plains, I guess. We could hold it up, but we don't have anything to do with it, so. Could have definitely played that Mountain on turn 1, though, because then we would have been able to hold up Red Elemental Blast, just in case the Narset gets some really lucky Mana Rock draw. They get, like, Mana Vault and a Plains. They could potentially cast Narset right now. Flying Glaciers for our opponent, and they're going to play a Tomorrow Azami's Familiar. Interesting card. If you draw a card, look at the top 3 cards of your library instead, put one of those cards in your hand, the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. Pretty good. And also going to drop down a Mind Stone. Solemn Simulacrum going to come into us. Yep, we're just going to go ahead and take that. Here comes the Brainstorm. Opponent cracks an Evolving Wilds. Ooh, here comes a Marin. Pretty good. Especially with a Viscera Seer out. Temple of the False God for our opponent. Still in that awkward stage where it does not make mana yet. And opponent going to sacrifice the Viscera Seer to scry one. Gets a counter with Marin. And they'll get the Viscera Seer back. That's the Swords to Plowshares. Probably, ooh man, lots of things to shoot right here. So, I mean, I think the first thing is going to be get Sun Titan down, play the Plains, cast Sun Titan, get the Flooded Strand back. We're going to wait before we use it in case we need to use Red Elemental Blast or Swords to Plowshares. I would love to get rid of this Tomorrow's Azami's Familiar. Would love to get rid of this Marin. Narset is probably on the way. Send the Kazul into the Narset opponent. They have no blockers currently. And we'll pass the turn like that. Mana Crypt flip on the Patron opponent. Opponent's going to use their Thawing Glaciers. Here comes Patron of the Moon. It's a 5/4 flying. You put lands from their hand onto the battlefield. It's interesting. Haven't really seen this one before, so I don't know what to make of it. I mean, it seems decent. I'm not sure if there's like a combo or something that I need to watch out for. So thoughts on this version of Aurelia. For a while, I was testing that go-wide version of Aurelia, the one I'm calling the new War Leader. That's the one that got Aurelia down on like turn 3 or something crazy like that. And, you know, it's capable of winning the game on turn 5 and turn 6, stuff like that. That deck, unfortunately, is very weak to board wipes, which is not something that I love. Mana Crypt coming down for the Narset opponent. Narset coming into play. Just going to go ahead and counter that Narset right now. First things first, we got to crack this fetch. We're going to get Sacred Foundry untapped. Red Elemental Blast the Narset. Counter that blue spell. So Narset back to the command zone. Ooh, Sakura Tribelder coming down for the Marin opponent. Yeah, we had to make the choice right there between shooting Narset or shooting Marin. We shot the Narset, so now Marin's going to be able to do some stuff. But I am going to be looking to swords that Marin on our coming turn. Not terribly interested in dealing with more Marin shenanigans. And here comes a Skull Clamp. Ugh. Gonna Skull Clamp the Viscera Seer, so more counters on the Marin. Gonna get to draw some cards also. Ugh, Spore Frog. No, not Spore Frog. Oh man, I hate Spore Frog. So Marin's gonna get something back. I hope it's not the Viscerus here. I'd prefer it's the Sakura. Nice. Going for the Tribell. They're awesome. So they can't sacrifice Marin in response to our swords. That's a Tithe. That is 100% not the card that I wanted to see right here. So we're gonna cast Aurelia. We're gonna play this Tithe right now. Try to get more lands out of our deck. Do the most amount of thinning that we can. I guess we'll get the Mistveil Plains right here. Yeah. So get 2 plains. Play the Mistveil Plains. Let's do some attacking. If we go with the Muldrotha opponent, they just use the Spore Frog, so that's pretty disappointing. So I guess we're taking out Narset right here. I can't feel too bad about taking out Narset, though I kind of want to be focusing on that Muldrotha a little bit. They got a lot of value going over the last 2 turns or so. So attack like that. Sun Titan, get back the Flooded Strand. Use the Sun Titan. Crack the Flooded Strand so I don't forget. Get a Plains. So Narset down to 25. We're going to get our second combat step. I'm going to send these 2 into Narset. I'm going to send the Aurelia into Muldrotha. See if they use their Spore Frog. And Sun Titan will get that land back one more time. Let's see if they use the Spore Frog right here. Nope. Going to let it go. So Narset down to 16. Muldrotha at 35, 3 commander. And we're going to Swords the Marin. Opponent's going to use that Patron of the Moon ability. Let's find out what that's all about. So they have 2 lands in hand. They drop them both into play. They will need to draw some cards, though. They have that, Tomorrow a Zombie's Familiar, so they'll get to look at 3. If they crack the Mind Stone, they'll get to look at 3 more. That seems pretty good. Marin into the Exile Zone, feeling a lot better about that. Spore Frog's still going to be a problem for our deck, though. But we do have things like Sulphurous Blast and Volcanic Fallout, so that we can do those at instant speed to force them to sack that on other turns. But even still, once they get Muldrotha in, they can get that thing back pretty easily from the graveyard, so that's going to be annoying. Opponent upset that I let them do the damage, and then I shot their Marin. Yep, I sequenced it that way intentionally. Oh, anyway, so I've been thinking about which deck should be my best Aurelia deck, and I was working on the Go Wide one for a while. Like I said, that deck struggles against board wipes and struggles against removal. It seems to get stalled really easily by interaction. The equipment version of Aurelia, this deck, handles interaction much, much better, and this deck can go much later if the game gets slowed down for any reason, which is really cool. Where the Go Wide version of Aurelia isn't really able to do that as well. Now, the one thing where this deck has to be careful is if Aurelia gets stolen, it's a really big problem. Or if Aurelia gets killed like 2 or 3 times, it gets really difficult to keep recasting her and equipping all the equipments. So that can be a big problem in this deck. But we do have some things like Kazul's, which can start wearing equipments in her place. But the thing that I like about this deck is that the longer the game goes, the closer you are to getting Aurelia or Godo with Helm of the Host. So just the longer the game goes, the closer you feel you are to victory. Flooded Shoreline coming down. Return 2 islands you control to their owner's hand. Return target creature to his owner's hand. Oh, that seems bad. And a Tormod's Crypt. Tormod's Crypt is going to be so useful against that Muldrotha. Though right now I'm not sure how we beat this Flooded Shoreline. Return to Dust is in our graveyard. We may need to cycle that back at some point, because, yeah. I better check this deck list. I don't think I updated this deck list enough to have Wear Tear, Crush Contraband, and Return to Dust all on the deck list. It looks like only Return to Dust. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to cycle that one back. Some of my decks I had updated to be running all 3, and I am really loving the results of what that means. I guess we also have Chaos Warp. Chaos Warp should be in here still. Yeah, Chaos Warp is in the deck, so we can use that one as well. Thawing Glaciers returns to opponent's hand. Ooh, Mana Vault. Does that mean Narset is on the way back? Opponent said they miscounted their mana after laying down the Mana Vault. There's a Strionic Resonator. That's a pretty good one. Opponent gonna sacrifice the Sakura Tribelder. Yep. Muldrotha gonna have quite a bit of mana this turn. Although I guess we're not doing too bad ourselves. We have 8 mana and just lands in play, plus 2 more from the Soul Ring. And I have no plans to slow down with this Flooded Strand and Sun Titan. Yep, here comes Muldrotha. Opponent's got 3 mana left over. It's enough to get a Tribelder. Yeah, Tribelder probably makes the most sense, and a land, maybe. They haven't played one already. Oh, I don't think I have Insult to Injury in this deck yet. Insult to Injury, and a card that I've actually been looking at is Leyline of Punishment. Says damage can't be prevented, because a lot of these green, black, and Sultai decks love to sit behind Spore Frog and Glacial Chasm. So shutting off damage prevention is actually a pretty big deal against certain types of decks. Like, there's more damage prevention than you think running around in Commander. Even me, I sit on Comeuppance a lot. Opponent's gonna Skull Clamp the Spore Frog. Yep, drawing some cards. Hopefully Archangel is awake with this Tormod's Crypt and exiles the graveyard before that thing comes back. The only concern, though, is that I don't know if Spore Frog is as big of a concern for them as it is for us. Sport Frog coming back to play, so not getting the exile right there, sad face. They can still bounce it at awkward times for our opponent, so that's a thing. Helm of the Host off the top would be glorious right here. I'm going to crack this Flooded Strand, just to try to thin out our deck as much as possible, because we really do not want to draw land. Grab a Plains. We draw a Wheel of Fortune, which is actually really good. Play Plains. Play the Wheel of Fortune. Opponent's going to use that Patron of the Moon ability. Yeah, that seems pretty good. Going to be a Path to Exile on Aurelia. Okay. At least we'll get a land out of that one. We've actually got the 7 plains we need for Emeria, so I'm going to get a mountain right here. Oh, opponent's going to unsubstantiate our Sun Titan. Nice play. If we catch an equipment, though, we can still do some damage with this Kazul's Toll Collector. So we kind of got picked apart by spot removal a little bit right there. What do we get? We get Sulphurous Blast. We'll keep away... Stoneforge Mystic is a card. Chaos Warp is a card. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. Stoneforge Mist... Ooh, 7 new cards, huh? Oh, got rid of one turn spell from our opponent. Nice. Indestructibility. All right, so I think we have exactly enough to play Stoneforge Mystic. Actually, I think we'll have one left over. Yeah, so play Stoneforge Mystic. Question is, how much longer do I think this game is going to go? All right, so we have a lot of equipments to look at. Argentum Armor is a card. Sunforger is very, very good. It's the card I probably want to go for. Helm of the Host is a card. Aurelia is going to be 8. How much mana do we have? Feast and Famine is also all right. Think it's got to be Sunforger. Play Sunforger. Equip the Sunforger. So the 3 choices right there are Sunforger, Helm of the Host, and Feast and Famine. Each one has good things that it does. The question is, which do we need most? Sunforger offers the most protection, which I like. We're gonna tack into the Narset for 7. I would really love to get them out of the game. I tap my lands the way that I did, so that I can leave up Chaos Warp, Oh, I guess we don't have a second white permanent for Misveil Plains. All right, so well that didn't work. But I tapped them the way that I did to leave up Chaos Warp, Sunforger, and well, if we had a second permanent, Misveil Plains. So that's kind of what I was trying to do right there. Unfortunately, not able to get the Emeria the Sky Ruin down that turn. We can get it down next turn, and we do have 7 lands. So the turn after that, we can get that Sun Titan back. And looks like the only thing that I can get right now is more lands, but more lands are good, especially when you have a Sunforger out. We did get rid of a Teferi Mage of Zalfir from our opponent, so that's good news. Rite of Replication on the Solemn Simulacrum. Yeah, we used our 1 red Elemental Blast. I think we gotta let that go. Yep, that's a kicked Rite of Replication. They're gonna get a lot of lands. Floodbringer. Pay 2. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Tap target land. Volcanic Fallout's looking pretty good. Solemn Simulacrum gonna swing into us. Yep. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and take that. Opponent's going to play a Need for Speed. Awesome. Probably get him to sacrifice a land first. Here comes a Preordain. So opponent's not going for the Narset right there. Ooh, I think we can win the game right here. If Narset doesn't have removal, we can win the game. Or, well, interaction from anyone, really. Which, I mean, it's a little bit to ask for. We just wheeled. Everyone got 7 fresh cards. But opponent's leaving up mana on this Thawing Glaciers. Their lands come in tap. They don't have the 2 blue needed for Flooded Shoreline. Here comes an Azusa. Awesome. Oh, I guess we still need to worry about the Spore Frog. So we can't just go for Helm of the Host yet. Which means I think we're going to Sunforger on our turn. We're going to Volcanic Blast and Sulphurous Blast, and that'll kill most of the things on board. Muldrotha will sadly survive, though. Here comes a Commander Sphere. Here comes a Sylvan Safekeeper. Yep. One's going to crack the Commander Sphere, draw a card. Here comes a Muldrifter evoked. Nice. Muldrotha going to swing into the Narset opponent. So Baleful Strix coming down for our opponent also in that turn cycle. That puts Narset to 3, which means we don't actually have to attack Narset anymore. We can just get there with Sulphurous Blast. Oh, we have so many choices right here. I still kind of like the board wipe with Sulphurous Blast and Volcanic on our turn, because what that'll do, that'll leave Muldrotha in play, and I think that'll incentivize opponent to use the Tormod's Crypt on the Muldrotha and not on us, which I really like. The question is, I think we probably still need to play the Emeria Shepherd. Or I think we still need to play the Emeria the Sky Ruin anyway. Hopefully they just kind of miss it. The question is right here. We're going to Chaos Warp this Flooded Shoreline. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. We're going to end the turn and let it come back to us. There's a Coalition Relic. Might be a little late in the day for that. Oh, didn't even notice. Opponent's got a Mana Crypt out, so they're at 3. They're already left to the mana. They're already left to the devices of their Mana Crypt. Where to attack? Do we attack at all? Actually, we can actually put some damage on Muldrotha. Maybe we go the safe route and make sure we take down Narset. Everyone has so much interaction out that attacking into either the Moonfolk or the Muldrotha is just going to get our stuff bounced and messed with, so it's not a great place to be. So send in the Kazul. So Narset down. So right here we're going to activate the Sunforger. Oh, can we go Teferi's Protection first? No, it would need to be instant speed for that to work. Yeah, so go for Volcanic Fallout. Volcanic Fallout going to kill most of the things on board. A lot of good value creatures floating around. Unfortunately, the Moonfolk opponent will get to draw a lot. I guess maybe we could have used the Chaos Warp on this thing, but they're also going to draw so many cards that there's a somewhat likely chance that opponent's got the replacement effect, so we are going to need to use the Sulphurous Blast right here. We are in our main phase. Opponent's going to use the Patron ability, drop some more lands in. So opponent gets to draw a bunch with the Solemn Simulacrum. Oh, man. I'm going to try the Emeria, the Sky Rune. I'm going to get the Coalition Relic down. Then we're going to play Balin the Wandering Knight, and that also pairs really well with the Sunforger. And we'll pass like that. So we've got a couple things at work right here. They do involve our graveyard, so if opponent catches on with a Tormod's Crypt, we're in trouble. Nice! So they crack the Tormod's Crypt on the Muldrotha opponent. We are set up now. In fact, we may even be able to win on our next turn. We'll see how much mana we have. Because we do need to deal with the Flooded Shoreline. That's a thing that needs to happen. We have the Chaos Warp to get rid of it. But what we can do, Emeria will get back Sun Titan, which will get back Stoneforge Mystic, which will find Helm of the Host, and then we get Aurelia equipped up with Helm of the Host, and things should be pretty good. That's a Gauntlet of Power naming blue. Opponent's going to have so much mana. So they can probably cast every card in their hand. Feels so much better now that Tormod Crypt got used on the Muldrotha. Got rid of so many of their good things too. That Spore Frog is huge. It is very difficult for us to win through Spore Frog. Ooh, that's a Memory Jar. Does opponent use it this turn or do they wait? They have enough mana that they can still do a lot with it. That could be bad, actually. They could... Yep, they're cracking the Memory Jar right now. Hopefully... Okay, mostly lands? Yeah, mostly lands, Iroas. Mana Ramp, I'm actually okay with all that stuff going to the graveyard. That is all stuff that we do not need right now. The good thing, too, is that because opponent's looking at so many cards, it becomes really difficult to, actually leave mana back. You know, leave mana up for interaction. That's a Moloku. So opponent has the Patron and Moloku combo going, which seems pretty good. Amulet of Vigor to bring the lands back untapped also seems very good. Is that infinite? So they pay 1, returns the land. They pay 1, put 2 lands back. Phyrexian Metamorph coming in, copying Gauntlet of Power. Oh. The Moonfolk opponent doesn't have any interaction in their hand, so we're good there. Memory Jar returns the original hand. He's going to discard the rest. Opponent's going to use the Flooded Shoreline on the Muldrotha. Sure. Okay, so we're not going to have enough mana to do the Helm of the Host plan all this turn because we don't have Aurelia or Helm in play. So Muldrotha coming back to play. Opponent's going to play an Overwhelming Intellect. Counter target creature spell, draw cards equal to that card's converted mana cost. Oh, Notion Thief. Oh, wow. Things getting interesting. All right, we got a stack going. We got a stack. Oh, gonna hinder the Notion Thief. So opponent really looking to shut down the Muldrotha right there. Got into a big old counterspell battle with them. All right, so Emeria getting back Sun Titan. Use the Emeria. Sun Titan gets back Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic coming in. Stoneforge Mystic gonna get... Argentum Armor would be cool. Ah, the choices right here. You know what we could do? We could go... Because we don't have enough for Mask of Memory right here, I think actually Sword of Fire and Ice might be the right call. Or maybe Feast and Famine. Feast and Famine lets us untap and do more shenanigans, which I like. Feast and Famine, because we have a lot of lands already, and getting double the mana is going to allow us to do a lot of Signet, is not where we want it to be. So, play the Sunhome. Problem is, opponent can do all this stuff at instant speed, which is not great. Play the Feast and Famine. Equip this Sword of Feast and Famine here. See if opponent gets antsy with that Flooded Shoreline. They do. Alright, so let's Chaos Warp the Flooded Shoreline. Ooh, opponent's got a forbid. Alright, I think that's game. Actually, I think we can still do some stuff. We can still do some stuff while that's all on the stack. Opponent's gonna Flooded Shoreline again. Yeah, that's not good. I think that's probably gonna be game. Yeah, they have way more mana than us. They can keep doing that. So yep, opponent's got it. They are infinite with tokens, and they were able to work the stack the right way. If we Chaos Warp that Flooded Shoreline sooner, we're still kind of in the game. Though they said they have a Enter the Infinite in their hand, which they can easily cast. However, on the other hand, If we did get rid of that flooded shoreline, we can untap our lands and really try to get crazy with Sunforger and take down some of those mana doublers. Who knows? Definitely should have shot the thing right there. But then on the other hand, we probably also get a creature bounced. That was the play that hurt us kind of badly, and we also didn't really play any removal on our opponent. We paid a lot of attention to our other opponents, and I mean, rightfully so. They are both strong and can end the game out of nowhere, so I'm going to scoop it right here. We know our opponent's infinite and that they've got everything going on, so so close. If we made that one play, I think we could have squeaked it out, but we did not. Patron of the Moon, of all cards. Not one that I expected to be a really high-powered deck, but it played really well, so... Also had a little bit of that, never really seen it before, so didn't really know what to expect, where Narset and Muldrotha, you kind of know what you're getting into, so we did focus probably a little bit too much of our attention on them, and just let Patron do their thing, so... Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.